Today on Try Not to Get Canceled, we're gonna watch transgender athletes talk about competing in sports. Will this be the grand opening and grand closing of my YouTube career? Well, we're gonna see right here. Let's get to it.
If you truly believe that trans women have an advantage, even with hormones, then that means you truly believe that trans men have a disadvantage, even with hormones. So the argument that you hear most of the time is against trans women. So does that mean that you're okay with trans men having that disadvantage?
I'm already about to get my ass canceled, man. Hey, y'all
Hi,
niggas
my name is
banned me out
Howard.
of cancel jail.
I've been a swimmer for 13 years, and currently I'm on the UCLA triathlon team.
My name's Jing, and I've been swimming for 11 years.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I've been playing indoor volleyball for 7 years, and I've been playing beach volleyball for 3 years.
My name is Afton. I play women's flat track roller derby, and I've been playing since the end of 2018.
My name is Mac Beggs. I'm a wrestler. I've been in combat sports for 8 years.
My name is Sydney. I played tennis growing up for 13 years, and now I am a fitness coach.
Okay.
Trans athletes have an unfair advantage. Step forward if you agree.
I'm gonna be honest, I agree.
When you first think about like transgender athletes, I guess the first thing you think about is, well, biologically, transition usually happens after puberty, right? So if this biologically male athlete goes through puberty, he gets like better bone structure, he has all these skills that he enhances, all these muscle that he puts on, and then he transitions. Yes, your testosterone levels go down, but you're always just gonna have that like things that you've gone through like during puberty that you have after you've transitioned. So I feel like there's always gonna be that advantage.
I think it's dependent on the gender that they are transitioning to. For example, trans women do have somewhat of an advantage. Biological men are naturally born with higher bone density and larger lung capacity and a larger heart, and that's not something that can necessarily be changed with hormones.
Yep.
Of course, this isn't the same for trans men athletes.
For me, it's just on average, guys are typically a little bit stronger, a little bit larger, a little bit taller. So depending on the sport especially, it can give them a large advantage when you're looking at something like that. When it's something like swimming, having that.
Definitely contact sports, bro. Contact sports, they can't be doing that, like wrestling and stuff like that. When it's actually like or MMA. There was an MMA boxer that was trans. That was originally, I think, cis, and in turn, that became trans, and they were pummeling women, cisgender women. Trying to be politically correct, because I don't want to actually get canceled. You feel me? But they were pummeling them. So I think, like, definitely in sports like that, it could be like, I don't know, dog.
That ability to be a little bit larger lung capacity will overall affect that.
Can I have the disagreeer step forward?
Okay, let's see what they got. What you got? But of course, the cis or the born
Among
women.
cisgender men and cisgender women, there are naturally differences in their anatomy, in their hormonal levels, in their height, bone structure, all that stuff. Like any cisgender woman compared to another might have a different body type. Yeah. Some women are naturally very strong. If you take the advantage, which I think in most cases is the hormones, and if you compare the blood work and you're just looking at that, if they're on the same level, in my opinion, there just isn't an advantage, because when you grow up playing sports, some people are good at sports, some people aren't.
The problem I see with this argument is that there's a large group of people that no matter what I do in a sport will always automatically assume that I have an advantage. But they're not taking into account hours that I put into practice, hours that I put into weightlifting to become a better athlete. Roller derby is probably 90+% cis women. I get my ass handed to me. Like, yes, I am tall, and I can see that can be an advantage in some sports, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that I have an advantage.
See, that's different. It's like, you know, it's always nuance to every situation. It's always variables. That's not a sport that I would say that it only revolves around the strength that would give the male the advantage. So that's much different than weightlifting or wrestling or what lacrosse. Like, it's a dude that was playing lacrosse. Trying to get my account, some calling the homie a dude. That's a transgender woman that's playing lacrosse. Like, what the fuck going on, man? That's not cool.
Like news and like politics and stuff is about trans women just because they're in so much prominence, because they are winning. Like, I can't remember what her name is right now, but she was a powerlifter. She is a powerlifter. I think she went to Tokyo Olympics, and she's transgender. And they're winning by like a large amount like of weight.
If you truly believe that trans women have an advantage, even with hormones, then that means you truly believe that trans men have a disadvantage, even with hormones. So the argument that you hear most of the time is against trans women. So does that mean that you're okay with trans men having that disadvantage?
When I was
I
like,
mean,
going,
it's the only thing is that you know if they want that disadvantage is okay. If that's with them, we just want it all to be fair. We just want it all to be fair. That puts them at a disadvantage. Why would you want to be at a disadvantage in those sports? I don't know, but to each their own.
through high school, I wrestled against females. I had to suppress both my hormones in my body, and I was still able to beat the men too, with my like levels low. Like, and I cut 15 pounds a week. Like that was crazy.
Yeah,
But like that's what I'm saying. Like the body is like a shell, and what we do every single day in the practices and the like life lessons that we get, like living 40 years on this earth, you know, we just try to live life the best we can.
Yeah.
Now, in that case, homie's a beast. Homie's a beast. If he was a born a woman and transitioned to being a male and wrestled against men and was whooping the men, homie's a beast because he has more of a disadvantage, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section, but I think homie a beast. In the other situation where you got the advantage, I ain't gonna clap it up for you because you are at an advantage. You feel me?
Trans athletes should have a separate category in certain sports.
I agree. Man, come on. Hold your nuts. Hold your nuts, man. Hold your nuts. With your chest.
I don't want to say that they should be in a completely different category just because socially and legally, yes, they are that gender that they transition to, and putting them in another category just seems, from hindsight, it seems wrong. But as an athlete, like in the sporting world, it just does seem a little bit unfair.
It does.
If you classify them under the same group.
Yeah, think about it, dog. It's some women that's been trying their whole damn life to qualify for the Olympics or whatever. And this may be the year that they're running at the height or performing at the height of their life. Natural born women. And then finally, they have the trials. And they're competing for this one last spot. And someone that's a transgendered woman come and beat them out for that last spot. That could be a slap in the face to that woman that's working her whole damn life, and she's finally peaking and everything, and she finally has the opportunity to make it to the Olympics. This is the Olympics. This example. She has the opportunity to finally make it there, and then that situation happens. That will piss a woman off. And we already know ladies are fighting for equal rights, but for a natural born man that's now transitioned to being a transgender woman to come and take an opportunity from them, that will piss a woman off even more. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm with the ladies on this one. Because this is not my fight. It's not my fight. But just seeing their opinions and how it comes to that, I got to rock with the ladies on that one. Because it's not my fight.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that there definitely are some sports where your physical ability makes a much larger impact on the sport itself. Wrestling would be one of them, swimming, track, something like that. But if you look at NASCAR as a sport, I believe that anyone can then go and do that sort of sport because that's more of a technique. If you look at other sports like golf, it requires a lot of technique and a lot of strength, plus video games is now starting to make a massive rise. So all of those could definitely have both genders in it with no problem.
That's no problem. But if you guys didn't know, this year at the Olympics there were a lot of transgendered or people that was on the cusp, I would say, based on their hormone levels or the testosterone levels, that were not allowed to participate in certain races, mostly some sprints. They were not allowed to participate if their testosterone levels were too high. And because the last Olympics, there were a lot of complaints about certain athletes that were on the cusp of their gender not being too obvious, just trying to be as politically correct as I possibly can be. Their gender was not as obvious, so it raised a lot of concerns. In this Olympics, they were much more strict on who was allowed to compete based on testosterone levels. Now, some black athletes were left off, and it caused uproar on social media, definitely Black Twitter, about some black athletes that felt like they were targeted because not being able to compete. Some ladies from Africa, so it was some issues with that. So what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think about all this stuff?
Swimming, especially, if I were to decide that I would like to transition and then start all of the hormone therapy for a year or so, then obviously I would probably lose some muscle mass and I would slow down in my swimming. But I don't know if that slowdown would necessarily be enough to make it fair for the cis females that I'd be competing up against.
What? Wow.
The danger of it is that you're possibly outing somebody. In America alone, there's several places that it's still extremely dangerous to be an open transgender person.
I get
to
that.
say that you can't perform unless you're in this group. There's just a lot of safety reasons for that individual that it's not good. Second thing, where does the line draw? You're saying swimming, and you had mentioned earlier that like height was an advantage. Did I go through puberty as a male? Yes. But in order to say that I have an advantage because I was born with testosterone is the equivalent of saying that, oh, I went to this gym one time and I lifted and I had a protein shake, so I should never have to take a protein shake again because it's in my body. And the medicine I'm taking stops that testosterone. I don't have that anymore. Like my entire body, my entire mind, my entire way of thinking is different because of the medicine I'm on.
But still, his physique though, his physique is still masculine. His physique is masculine. Be mad at me. He has a masculine physique. And when you see the other the transgendered men, they have a much more. You can see the traps and stuff like that. Their physique is not as masculine and pronounced as his. So it's a difference, man. Be mad at me. I'm canceled. I'll cancel my damn self. It's nigga person. I don't know what to call you. You that watching right now, I don't know what to call you. My YouTube career is over. Fuck.
You're in a category if you're 5'9" and above. 5'7" to 5'9", 5'5" to 5'7", weights, like all those things. It's like, exactly where is the line drawn?
I mean, they do have weight categories.
Well, yeah, for
like,
certain sports, of course. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think just generally, every person is different. And like you're saying, like the cis women that were getting cut because they're naturally, more athletic to some standard that's set. It's like,
Or even the varying levels of testosterone. Oh,
Exactly.
you're in this box, so now you're in this league.
yeah.
I wasn't by any chance trying to discriminate against them and try and put them in their own category
Yeah.
in that way. It was more just by a performance standpoint. We already do separate everyone into their own different levels. You don't have Olympic athletes coming and competing at state
Club levels.
club levels.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of trying to become a better athlete then?
If they're trying to work up to a goal, I'm not entirely sure.
So if you're good enough, you're going to be singled out and have to go. There's no proof of any trans athlete that is #1 in any category right now.
Yeah, that's because I think they're being held back so much by just like the media and everything.
But there was in the Olympics, there was an 800-meter runner from South Africa, I believe, the 2016 Olympics. I believe that person won gold. I don't think they were allowed to run this Olympics. I'm just saying, you say it ain't no proof. That's good. And they were more. They weren't trans. They were much more of a hermaphrodite. So I guess I'm wrong. Whatever. I'll take that L.
thing that you don't get to see their chance to shine in that sense.
What would you guys say to like transgender people who transitioned before puberty?
In that instance, I think I would take a step back and kind of look at it more at like my own argument, like it was a scientifically based on like puberty and stuff. So I would like consider like that would be different, but my mindset just coming into this, I mean, I think that most people go through transitioning like after puberty, or it's like encouraged
more
to.
common.
Yeah.
For me, it's more
That's
if they end
early.
up just fitting the category, regardless if they do it.
We gonna talk, man. Fuck this. Y'all wanna watch this video on your own, go do it. So let's talk in the comment section, man. Imagine a child transitioning before puberty. Remember where you were when you went through puberty? Imagine transitioning at that point. Me, when I was going through puberty, dog, I was jacking my dick to any and everything. Any and everything, nigga. I swear BT Uncut was on. Nigga, anything, bro. I remember jacking my dick to goddamn Beyonce. Not that video. I remember jacking my dick the Dangerous in Love, nigga. When the Beyonce came out with the shorts, so the cheek was hanging down. The cheeks were just dropping out the pants. I remember going crazy. Nigga, I need some alone time around that time, bro. I jacked my dick to anything. Bro, I jacked my dick to the goddamn Cosby Show intro. And I know the kids probably never see Cosby Show no more, but when Vanessa was doing her little thing, bro, I like Chocolate Girl. When Vanessa was doing her thing, bro, I was figuring it out. I used to watch Nick at Night and just figuring it out, bro. I was wild, man. So imagine at that tiny little age when you going through puberty, imagine that shit. Transitioning at that point in time. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying imagine. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying imagine. All right? I think I'm going to have to start saying imagine to not get canceled no more. Because I'm canceled right now.
Before puberty or after puberty, if they have the right amount of testosterone, they did all the right testing all beforehand, then why not? Then you don't even need to separate them. They might as well just compete as a trans athlete.
Hormone testing is fair.
It's fair. Okay. Meaning
Like the Olympics tests, college level tests. I know, like in Texas, at my high school level, the UIL organization, they tested, and it's to keep everybody safe. And I think it's okay to test for hormone levels, and if that's the ultimate, conversation here is that we're looking in people for hormone levels as a competition, then why separate men and women? Why are we talking about men and women? We just strictly talk about hormone levels then.
Yeah.
So there is varying levels.
So then it made me think of the movie Dope. It's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope, man. It's a slippery slope. You ain't. Y'all ever seen Joanna Man? Imagine a trans man. Imagine no, not LeBron, because he could dominate no matter what. Imagine, I'm trying to think of a okay NBA player that's not super raw. Damn, y'all give me a name. Give me a name. I'm not gonna hear the time. Damn. Give me a name. Eric Snow. You young niggas not gonna know Eric Snow. But old niggas, keep Eric Snow in your mind. Keep Eric Snow in the back of your mind, old niggas. Young niggas. I need a name, young niggas. Tony Snell. You know Tony Snell? Imagine Tony Snell going and playing in WNBA. Tony Snell will be fucking Michael Jordan of the WNBA. Do you know who Tony Snell is? But imagine that nigga going and playing in the WNBA. That nigga will fucking be dominating, bro. That's how Joanna Man is, bro. I just want you guys to understand that. Just understand that. I mean, just like, I'm just trying to say, bro. If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. Eric Snow, old niggas. If Eric Snow went to the WNBA, that nigga would have been the Iverson of the WNBA. Old niggas know what I'm talking about, bro. Y'all get me.
Levels of testosterone blockers that you can be on. I chose to be on one of the higher ones, but I can guarantee you that someone like me is going to get less of a chance to be cut than a cis female because my hormones will stay the same. whereas a cis is going to be all over the place depending on all sorts of variables. Yeah.
I personally think that the hormone testing is really important, and just coming from like a fitness perspective, like fitness, bodybuilding, like that sort of athletics. For me, I take a lot of pride in the fact that my testosterone levels are within the normal range of a cisgender male. Obviously, performance enhancers, right? Steroids, extra testosterone, all those things are thrown around among cisgender men in the fitness world to, enhance our performance, get bigger, all that sort of thing. And for me, being able to say like, no, I am within the normal range of a cisgender man. The muscle I'm putting on, I'm naturally putting on. I don't have an advantage over anybody else that's in that normal range. So I think for me, like, it's just really important because I'm like proud of that. And I think if you just assume that a trans person has an advantage because they're taking testosterone, it's kind of like, well, what about cis men that take testosterone to get bigger and that sort of thing? So
I want to see what homie gonna drop the bomb. What you gotta say, bro?
Testing for hormones is fine. The issue is what you're gonna do with that, because as I said earlier, it's really hard to put someone in a box because there's always averages here and there for male and female. But especially when you start making your way up in the competition pool, those norms go out the window, and it then gets even more difficult to write legislation on what a male can compete in and what a female can compete in for if their hormone levels are outside of this said box.
I'm fine as a trans athlete being tested. If I need to prove to the world that like I'm the better athlete at the end of the day, go ahead and take my medical information. I don't care. Like I'm just trying to live my truth. That's all I'm trying to do.
A cis female that's competing in a high level of track
Question. So when they transition, let me know in the comment section if y'all can, in the most in the best way that would stop y'all from getting your comment. You know how sometimes you comment some shit on YouTube, but it be too wild and they delete it automatically. That I don't be doing that shit, y'all shit. I be wanting to see y'all say some wild shit, but YouTube delete on its own. But in the best way, answer this question: Could they choose the size of their penis? Like when they come over and transition, could they be like, all right, let me get about like a 9. Let me get a 9, about 3-inch girth. Could they figure that? Could they choose that shit? Like how that work? Could they just? I don't know. I just be want to know. Let me know in the comment section. Could they choose the size of their dick? I don't know. You know.
Normal.
Cause that might be an unfair advantage and. That may be an unfair advantage. We may have to have a conversation. If they can just come in and just shoot the size of their dick, we got to work with what we got to work with. If not, we got to get out. I ain't going through no penis enlargement surgeries. Fuck. I ain't going through that shit. I mean, I'm good. You know, I can fit a magnum. You feel me? I'm good. But still, at the same damn time, motherfuckers just come in and just pick a dick.
Because now their testosterone levels are too high, and that's where legislation can get really difficult to write.
I am treated fairly by my fellow athletes.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. Oh.
I joined roller derby only like 4 months after I decided to transition and get onto hormones. Everyone from the beginning was very accepting. Roller derby is almost too accepting. From my experience, because I forgot how bad the real world can be sometimes. Not everyone is going to be, but my personal experience has been.
I'm sorry for saying what I said earlier about homie. I'm sorry. So I would take that back. Instead of saying that's a big dude, I would say that's a big woman. All right. Damn, that's about 15 more thumbs down on my video. I'm finna be canceled, dog. They're gonna just delete my channel. Fuck.
My club, I trained with my brother, and we were like kind of in the distance group, so it was mostly guys there, and they never really saw me as like she's a girl, you know. They just saw me as like another competitor, and it was always just fun, like racing. Like it just made me grow up love being in the sporting world and being competitive with everyone. So yeah.
I definitely get a lot of hate like online, but I've never personally gotten any like issues. Like everyone that's in the gym is just trying to get better for the most part. Obviously, that kind of communal idea is really like helpful as far as me not getting so much hate.
Lonely times.
When in high school, when I came out like prominently, everybody knew that I was trans, and there was a coach that exploited me in a lawsuit to try to ban me in high school. Yeah.
Opposite team, probably.
Wow.
I was on hormone blockers, and it was suppressing my estrogen and testosterone. And even though everybody knew who I was, when it came to like after junior high, when he did that, it was so aggressive. Parents would scream from the stands that they wanted to hurt me. As being a trans man and just in my life in general, my family doesn't come from much, and we work very hard. And I'm like the first generation to try to become something. So I mean.
Okay.
Haters.
Quick question. So you guys, man, this is like goddamn stream style. I should have just streamed this shit with y'all and talked with y'all while doing this. But so I'm gonna start doing streams for my reactions, to be honest with y'all. But so you guys, real quick. I really wish I should have streamed this shit, man. Damn, I'm mad about that. But comment with me, comment below. So if you're a man, you know when women go through certain things, and as a man, you sometimes get like somewhat of a figuring out how to figure that shit out, rescue, or you try to feel a sympathy for a woman when they go through things. When you was speaking to a male that's transitioned, or a lesbian woman that dresses like a male. When they're going through transgressions, do you ever get that same instinct of wanting to help them? Is that something like just tag this or stamp this in the comment section and respond to that for me? I want to know, is that something? Because I grew up around a lot of we call them dykes. We call them dykes and stuff like that. Or women or women that dress like men. So I grew up with them. So I want to understand if like you guys feel the same compassion when they're going through things that you feel when women going through things.
I will for you, man.
Yeah.
Sports should be gender neutral.
Your body's a vessel. It shouldn't matter whether you're male or female, because I feel like sports in general is growing. Especially there's this like little girl in wrestling. She wrestled in the junior division in wrestling and nationals in the 106-pound division, and she kicked all the guys' asses.
Yeah.
I was like, go for you. So I feel like as the sport's growing, as we're evolving as a society, and we're being very progressive, that it should get to the point if we're talking about gender neutral bathrooms, why can't we talk about gender neutral sports?
I actually rode and showed equestrian for 10 years, and I was like one of two men at the time. And then there are other roller derby leagues that are co-ed, and they work fine. Like women are going up against men, and they're bashing each other, and they're like going at it. There's a lot of things, and I feel like sports are one of these things where it's like it has to be this or it has to be that. The same as gender. It has to be this or it has to be that, and it's not.
For me, the issue that I would start seeing with this is when we start looking at scholarships. And for college level, if you start combining the sports by gender, then scholarships are always given to the top athletes. What happens to the females that now need that scholarship necessarily to go to college, but now you've just all thrown them into one category? It all of a sudden breaks that whole opportunity for them to maybe even go to college, because now they've been training to be able to provide for themselves in college. And now, since it's all one level playing field, maybe they can beat the males, but on average, they probably won't be able to, especially depending on the sport.
The same as I was saying about my Olympics analogy earlier.
So trans athletes aren't even getting scholarships either. I'm a 2-time state champion in high school. Didn't get a scholarship.
Cause they can't guarantee that a rule change may fuck you up and they lose their money. So I understand the frustration, but I understand the other side. That's another about 15 more thumbs down in this video. Damn, it is what it is.
I just now been able to get my scholarship 3 years into being on a male team.
But we're talking like hypothetically in the perfect world if sports was gender neutral.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's all hypothetical.
Yeah.
Everything's hypothetical in a sense because we don't have enough analytical data.
I feel as though making all sports gender neutral in that way, there is still some biological benefits to being born a man versus being born a female.
I just can't get over the fact that there are going to be all these very obvious differences, not advantages, but just differences in if we had gender neutral sports.
It's not going to be a co-ed team versus an all-male team. It's going to be a co-ed team versus a co-ed team. So I feel like there would still be strategy that would have to be played into it.
I'm thinking more like individual.
Individual. And I could see like where you're coming from that. And you mentioned wrestling earlier. Just the whole combat sport community in general does have a long way to go. Definitely not completely supportive of trans athletes. But
Hey, niggas that grew up in the hood, y'all remember that one time boy that always want to come out and play basketball, play football and shit like that. Y'all remember that one time boy and somebody had to pick on the team? Y'all remember that one time boy? Oh man, I had a couple of them, man. Oh man, that's the good old days. And they was like always like they wasn't super good, but they was like okay. It wasn't the best, but they was cool. And you always had that one nasty nigga that always wanted to smash him. You was that nigga. You was that nigga. You a nasty nigga. I know you. I know you was that one nigga that always wanted to smash that one time boy. Okay. You be searching stud porn on Pornhub and X videos. You's a nasty nigga. You be looking up stud porn and dyke porn. You're disgusting. You're a disgusting fella.
in a sense of like when I've noticed and just like studying of how like female athletes are and male athletes are, the best like MMA female athletes, cis, have male training partners. And most of the time, like, they're kicking their ass unless, like, they're training for, or unless they have somebody that's better than them to push them. And then that's just making them a better athlete.
In my opinion, like, kids are extremely accepting. I have two gorgeous kids. And it's so cool to have them play on a playground and explain to their new friends who I am. And, like, watch them do that. And their kids, like, their friends will be like, oh, okay. You know, but you talk to an adult and they're like, you know, because you have this instilled, like what you were saying, this instilled education from the time you were born that has basically said that, no, this is wrong. You have to have this group, you have to have this group, you have to have this group. Like, I do talk about it a lot with people, but I have to understand that it's not my responsibility to educate everyone. Like, I have to be able to cross that line where it's like, mentally, I can't do it anymore. Like, I need to step back for a little bit. But like you said, like, ask questions. Like, if you're genuine, as long as I know it's not malicious,
yeah,
ask a question. Don't freaking ask me about my genitals. Like, that's none of your freaking business.
Be respectful.
I just want to know, like, have you guys ever had, like, you were talking about your scholarship. Do you guys feel like you have less opportunity in the sense of, like, competitions and, like, scholarships just because you guys are trans?
When COVID started, roller derby, since then, has not gotten back together. So I lost my sport, which was something that was, like, really kept my brain in focus and, like, centered me. So I got into powerlifting. I lift because I enjoy it, but I don't even try and compete just because people are gonna like I don't want the backlash from it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's gotten for me to that point a little bit. A couple of years ago, it was like all too much, and it took my coach was fortunate and supported me through like my academic journey, and he was like, if you feel like you can't do this anymore, like as long as you got good grades, like, and you know, when we're being asked like in high school, like when we're like gonna be competing on a high level, you know, the first thing that comes out of a recruiter's mouth is what are your grades, not how good you are.
I mean, I think I just learned a lot. Like, I loved hearing all of y'all stories, and I feel sad that you guys like feel oppressed sometimes and don't even try. You know?
I hope this educates people.
Yeah. I know.
Middle ground, like,
Mic drop right there.
Me, leaving from this conversation, what I take from this conversation is I think it's so much nuance. I think the Olympics probably did a good job because some athletes that had high testosterone levels were still able to compete. So if that's what the scientists say, I'm not sitting here trying to do all that damn math and shit, all that science and math and shit. Let them do that. They figure it out, man. It's okay. Let the scientists do it. They feel like it's okay. It's okay. I don't give a damn. It don't make me nothing because I'm not out here competing no damn sports. So it is what it is. I love women, so I'm gonna do my best to try to figure out what the hell they're going on, what they mad at. They mad at something. I'm like, all right, how can we? I'm gonna back them on some shit like that. So they feel like their spots, as far as qualifying spots, is being taken by an unfair advantage. I'm be like, all right, I got them on that shit. You feel me? I got them on that shit. Because if I don't have a dog in that race, I'm gonna go with the more logical thing. You feel me? Because I feel like they're at a disadvantage. But at the same time, I understand that the transgender people as well, as far as their plight and trying to figure out where they want to fit in the world or how they can fit in this world, because they are people. They are people at the same time. And I don't want nobody just feel like they living in hell. That's the worst thing ever, to feel like you're living in hell. And sports is a big part of a lot of people's lives. A lot of people's lives. Like sports is that shit. I love sports. You feel me? I got a sports podcast on this channel because even though I know it would go against the algorithm of the channel because I talk about so much different things, I still want to have my sports podcast on this channel because I love sports that much. I don't care how many views it does. Hopefully it does a lot of views, but I just gotta talk about sports because it's part of me. I want my channel to reflect me, so I can understand a transgender person still wanting to be deep into sports at the same damn time, but they can control what gender they identify as. I understand that. I really do understand that. But it's such a crazy thing, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Hopefully I'm not canceled. I know I said some wild shit. I apologize, but listen, thank you for watching another edition of Try Not to Be Canceled. Hopefully I'm not canceled and you'll be here again. Thanks for having me. It's your boy Stacy, and I fuck with you. Why? Because you fucks with me. I'm out.